Welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to determine the eigenface basis to represent all human faces based on this large library of example images from the ALB face data set. So again, we have 36 individuals that we're going to use to train or to build this embedding. And for each of those individuals, we have 64 different lighting conditions. So for each of those individuals. So that's a massive data matrix X. Each column is one of these faces reshaped into a tall vector, and I have about 2,400 of those columns corresponding to these 2,400 pictures. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually compute the eigenfaces. Okay, so again, you're going to load this faces database. You're going to compute the mean face. You're gonna compute the average column vector in X, the average face, and subtract it from all faces. And then we're gonna compute the SVD of that mean center data X. And so this is very much related to the principal components because we're doing an SVD on mean center data. Okay, so this is the step right here where we take the SVD of X. Of course, we're going to do the economy SVD, so we don't want full matrices. We just want the part that corresponds to non-zero singular value. And then we're going to plot the average face and the modes, these eigenmodes. And again, I should probably be explicit. If a column vector of X came from an image, so essentially I reshaped an image into a tall, skinny column vector, then the column vectors of U have the same size as a column vector of X. So these column vectors of U can also be reshaped into eigenfaces, into these kind of orthonormal basis faces. And that's what we're going to be plotting and computing here. Okay? So when I run this code, these are essentially like the first two eigenfaces that you get. Okay, and they look like these ghosty, kind of funny, like ghost faces. And there are lots of these. There are 2,400 of these eigenface columns. And you would essentially take a linear combination of these eigenfaces in these columns of U, and that would recover an image of person 1 or an image of person 2. And so every person's face and every image of a person's face is a linear combination of these eigenfaces, of these kind of weird, ghosty eigenfaces that will capture different features and different shadows and things like that. Okay? And so what you can end up doing with this is you can take a new image. So if I have a test image X, and this is going to be from a person that I did not include in my original library, then what I can do is I can project them into my eigenface space. So I can take the first R columns of U, R by R block of sigma, and R columns of V, and then this will be approximately true. So this is U, R transpose. And if I take X and I take its inner product with the first R columns of U, I get a little R dimensional vector I like to call alpha. Okay, this is a little vector alpha. And alpha is essentially the mixture of these modes that you need to reconstruct X. So it's the amount of mode 1 in this person's face, and the amount of mode 2 in this person's face, and mode 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. And so this alpha is kind of like a fingerprint in this eigenface space that you can use to reconstruct people's faces. And then if you want to go from that little alpha back to a high dimensional X, you just multiply it by UR transpose. You take that alpha, that combination of those columns of UR, and you get back to an image. So essentially what I want to do is if I take UR times UR transpose times X, I get an approximation of X in this subspace of faces, in this eigenface subspace. Okay, so that's a lot of math. I said that pretty quickly, but the basic idea is that maybe I needed a megapixel to represent all of these people's faces. That's 1 million pieces of information. But if I find that just the first 500 columns of you are good enough to approximate most people's faces, if that gives me a good, faithful reconstruction, then I don't have to store 1 million pixels for each new person's face. I just have to store this alpha vector with 500 numbers that tells me the combination of eigenfaces I need to add up to make that new face. And so this is a huge compression. Instead of 1 million numbers, I just need to carry around 500 numbers. Okay? Now the catch is that if you want to use this for compression, we would all have to agree on the library or the basis U, and we'd all have to have a copy of that. But if we all agreed on that and had a copy, then if I wanted to send you a picture of a face, I would just send you alpha, and you could decode it with this UR library. Okay? It's actually kind of how the Fourier transform image compression or wavelet image compression works. We all agree on the basis, and then we just send the coefficients of the basis. Okay, so this is another way of thinking about it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, this was trained on the first 36 people. Now I'm going to take an image from person 37 that was not used to train this library, and I'm going to see how his face looks when I project it down into a subspace and then reconstruct with those modes. And I'm going to vary R from like 25, 50, 100, 200, 400, 800, and so on. And hopefully we can faithfully represent his face if we increase the number of modes to something reasonable. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. Is basically I'm going to take a new face from person 37. This index starts at 0, so this is the 37th person. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up a reconstruction of his face using the first 25 or 50 or 100 and so on modes. So R is going to vary. And the reconstructed face is super simple. It's just I have to add back the average face plus U sub R times U sub R transpose times my test face. This thing right here. Okay? And if I do that, what you find is, let me see here. This is the original face. It's kind of inverted color scheme. In fact, I could probably invert that right now. Let me just do that. Okay, so let me rerun this. This is going to take a minute, but I want this to actually look good. So we're going to rerun the first part. Okay, good. And then we're going to rerun the second part. And it's going to take a little bit, because this is a pretty big matrix to load and compute the SVD of. Okay, good. So all I did was I subtracted my image from 256. This is because to get this black background, I've inverted the color scheme on my laptop. So you wouldn't need this 256 minus, but it looks better now. Okay, good. So this is my original image of person 37, and we're going to look at the reconstruction with a rank 25 reconstruction. Doesn't look anything like him, okay? Rank 50 still doesn't look like him. Let's see, it's probably still computing more. Rank 100. So this is pretty expensive to multiply all of these matrices and recombine them. Like this is a very expensive matrix operation. And now that I think about it, I hope that I'm multiplying it in this order and then multiplying this. That would be a lot more efficient than if I multiplied UR transpose first and then multiplied X. So I'm going to go check the code later and make sure I'm not doing something bad here. Our 200 is getting closer, so this actually is starting to look a little bit more like our person here, and it's just getting better and better and better with 400 modes, 800 modes, 1600 modes. This is going to look more and more like our person, so 400 modes. And I actually think that this is kind of a phase change happens around 400 modes, where it really starts to look like the person. So you could almost pick out this person in a lineup if you were given this 400 mode representation of his face. Okay, and if we include more and more and more modes, it's only going to get better and better and better. But what this indicates is that you can get away with a relatively small amount of information in this vector A. All you need is 400 pieces of information that you would then use to reconstruct the image by multiplying with UR. And again, it's just getting better the more modes you include. Okay, good. So we can reconstruct a new person in this orthogonal eigenface space, which is pretty interesting. So this orthogonal basis of eigenfaces can actually be useful to represent new people's faces. Okay, thank you.